the parts that were coming in, bringing stuff, utilizing for certain. Oh, it's like not every time they go by. Are you?
That building. Have you ever been to that building? In Westboro? Yeah, so I grew up right there. Mine is mine down the road. Yeah, it's right on.
She does fun things. Yeah.
One day I was outside.
Yeah, I know. It's like not a good stuff. I'm like, well, I'm regularly meet with these girls, middle school. It's like, we'll be your friend if we don't get it.
Obviously, it's plastic.
No one's missing them.
Yeah, I got like yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah. If you get a text, I'll never take this.
Yeah, okay. So they are they took their back. We got
And they went,
What?
They said you can leave it on the counter for no more than 2 hours. I'll go back and forth. That was the other thing. So I'm gonna inch long when I go in.
I said, we have more out of times than we have registered voters. Fred said.
I'm guessing this is on. Welcome to East Bridgewater Special Town Meeting of Monday, November 22nd, 2021. Before we start, I'm looking for the flag. Thank you. If you would all rise, you pledge allegiance to the flag. Tonight we have many non-resident attendants. I'd like to welcome Charles Seelig, our new town administrator. Just acknowledge the Vikings! Cut his commute by 5 minutes by joining us from Halifax. John Clifford, Town Council. Michelle Dahl, Assistant Town Clerk. Paula Wolf, Director of Assessing. Rebecca Johnson, Administrative Assistant. Lee Nguyen, Principal Clerk. Alex Wells, Conservation Agent. Liz Legal, Superintendent of Schools. Chris Buckley, Veterans Agent. Jean Marie Joyce Kent, Health Agent. Christopher McGee, Library Detective. Ryan McGonigal, IT Director. Jason Trepania, Water Superintendent. Congressman Stephen Lynch. Representative Elson Sullivan, Senator Michael Brady. Shana Monroe, Joseph Waite, Senator Walter Timilty, and Ed Miller. At this time, I'll ask Ms. Gilpatrick to read the warrant.
To the constables of the town of East Bridgewater and said county of Plymouth, Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Greetings. In the name of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, you are hereby directed to notify and warn the inhabitants of the town of East Bridgewater, who, being qualified to vote in elections and town affairs, to meet at the Junior-Senior High School, 143 Plymouth Street, in said East Bridgewater, on Monday, May the 22nd day of November 2021, at 7 p.m. Then and thereto to act upon the enclosed articles, to wit: you are directed to serve this warrant by posting a copy thereof attested by you in writing in each of 6 public places in the town at least 14 days before the time of holding the meeting called for in the warrant. Therefore, fail not, and make due return of this warrant with your doings thereon to the town clerk of said town on or before the 19th day of October 2021. Given under our hands this 18th day of October in the year of our Lord 2021, Board of Selectmen.
Thank you, Ms. Gilpatrick. At this time, I'd like to ask Congressman Lynch if you want to say a few words. You can come up if you'd like. Yeah, thank you. You'll see me remove my mask when I talk because I said before, you people have a hard time understanding me when they don't have a mask. Well, this will make it easier.
This is on, right? Okay. Well, thank you. Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Moderator, Bob Looney, Reverend Clergy. I also want to thank my colleagues, Senator Mike Brady, Walter Timilty, and Representative Allison Sullivan for their cooperation. I know those very important matters before the town meeting on the warrant here, so I'll be very brief. But I do want to say thank you to your Board of Selectmen and Bob, and I know we've got a new town administrator that's being sworn in tonight, but during the initial funding for the CARES Act and also for the American Rescue Plan Act, we had to put together a proposal and a request for the town of East Bridgewater in Washington to ask for funding to cover the costs that the town had because of COVID. And with the great work, the input and active assistance of your town officials, we were able to get $2.4 million paid directly to the town of East Bridgewater to mitigate some of the costs that you incurred during the initial stage of the pandemic. So I want to thank them for that. I'm sure you're all aware, last week the President signed the Bipartisan Infrastructure and Investment and Jobs Act into law. That was $1.2 trillion, and a momentous occasion not only for this country but also for the state of Massachusetts. The state's portion of that bill will be about $12.5 billion to go towards our transportation system, which includes $4.2 billion for our roads, $2.5 billion to modernize our public transportation, $1 billion to improve our water infrastructure, and we know all about that down here in East Bridgewater, and $1.1 billion for bridge replacement and repairs. I think there are currently, in the state of Massachusetts, there are 472 bridges that have been classified as structurally deficient. So we have, because we're an older part of the country, our infrastructure is in the most need of help right now. The infrastructure bill will also provide $3.5 billion for national investment in weatherization, which will also help reduce the cost for local families. In addition to that, the House last week passed the Build Back Better Act, which will now be negotiated in the Senate. But I do want to point out a couple of very, very important items in that bill. One is universal pre-K. So universal pre-K, every child in America 3 to 4 years old will have the opportunity to go to pre-K. So it's an additional 2 years of instruction before they begin kindergarten, and I think it'll make an enormous difference in the readiness of children when they begin kindergarten and first grade. In addition to that, in that bill itself is funding for hearing aids for seniors on Medicare. Right now, Medicare does not pay for hearing aids, but under this bill, if it is passed in its current form in the Senate, it will include that benefit for seniors. So we'll have to keep you posted on that. In addition, last week, as I chair the subcommittee on national security, and we had a hearing last week on veteran suicide, and we examined how we can better work with the Department of Defense and the VA to try to deal with it. But just to give you a sense of the problem that we're dealing with, since 2001, the suicide rate among veterans in the United States is up 57%. 57%. That's about 6,300 veterans a year take their own life. And I personally think that, I've been to Iraq and Afghanistan probably between 30 and 40 times. And every time I go, I ask the veterans the active military that I meet with, I say, what number tour of duty is this for you? And more often than not, they're on their third or fourth or fifth tour of duty, in Iraq and Afghanistan. I seriously think that the repeat tours of duty for these young people, men and women in uniform, it has exacerbated the suicide rate among our veterans. But we're looking at that. Think about it. So since 2010, over 65,000 U.S. service members have committed suicide. That is more casualties than the number of military killed in action in Vietnam, in Iraq, and Afghanistan combined from suicide. We're doing some good work with the VA. I'm lucky I have 3 VA hospitals in my district: Brockton, West Roxbury, and Jamaica Plain. They're doing some cutting-edge work on that. But part of our problem is that of the veterans who return, only 15% of them sign up for the VA. So the money that we're pushing into the VA is not getting out to the people who need it. So now we're turning to a private and public partnership model. I'm working, matter of fact, General Jack Hammond, who runs the home base program. It's affiliated with both the Boston Red Sox, Mass General Hospital, and Harvard Medical School. They've done wonderful work, so we're changing our model to try to be able to reach out to more veterans. And there's a great veterans hotline. If you know anybody who's in that frame of mind and thinking about taking their own life, there are enormous resources available. And, we want to let them know they are not alone. Look, I'm grateful for the opportunity to have a chance to address town meeting. Thank you all very much. This is really the essence of democracy. I'm very, very proud to represent the town of East Bridgewater. I have family down here. Kevin Lynch, my cousin, his son Kevin Lynch was a big football star here in East Bridgewater. We used to come down to the games all the time when he was a junior and a senior. But I'm enormously proud to represent the town of East Bridgewater. You have a great town delegation here, and you're represented very ably by Senator Brady and Senator Timilty and Allison Sullivan as well. They're my partners in this, and they help me in a great way while I'm down in D.C. 4 or 5 days a week. So thank you for the opportunity. Very proud to represent East Bridgewater. God bless you all, and stay safe. And have a very happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Lynch. Somebody asked me, why do I let him speak? I said, because I can. That's the perks of this job. But also, and I'm not here to flatter him. We don't necessarily always agree. But I will say, in my 18 years doing this, he's been here at least 3 or 4 times. And I haven't seen any other federal officials. So I thank you for making the effort to come down. Now for the business at hand. I do appreciate Senator Timilty, Representative Sullivan, Senator Brady from coming. I know for future use, I think we're losing Senator Timilty in a couple of years, and picking up Senator Brady for the whole town if things stand the way they are now.
And if we may,
Yes, Senator Brady.
just for clarification with the redistricting, Senator Timothy and myself will still be representing East Bridgewater through the end of next year, so it doesn't take place till 2023. And I want to thank Senator Timothy. He's been a great team partner, as well as the 2 representatives, Allison Sullivan and Michelle Dubois. Representative Jerry Cassidy will be taking over Rep. Dubois' district, and that won't take place till 2023. So thank you all for your continued support. I want to thank our congressman as well. He's been a great partner to our town in East Bridgewater as well as to us in the State House. And I serve on the Veterans Committee, and what's happened at the Soldiers' Home was totally uncalled for last year, and we have passed some serious legislation and additional funding to help our veterans. So, and Senator Timothy's been a part of that as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Senator Brady. Out of the business at hand, Article 1, David Sheedy, Board of Selectmen.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to appropriate and transfer from account number 1035935990, free cash, the sum of $8,900, to account number 11212615300, town administrator search, for the purpose of hiring a firm to recruit a town administrator.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Motion made and seconded. Mr. Sheedy for discussion, if any.
Yes, this represents the money that we use for from hiring community program to bring Charlie to us this evening, and we're just trying to pay that debt this year.
Finance Committee have a recommendation?
Committee recommends the article.
Any further discussion on Article 1 is presented? Seeing none, all in favor of Article 1 is presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Article 1 passes. That's the majority vote. It's a majority. Article 2, Ms. Julius.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to transfer from account number 1-0-359-3590, free cash, the sum of $21,000, to account number 1-122-3993-5302, professional services consulting, to fund a classification and compensation study.
A motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Finance Committee recommendation? I'll go to
Finance Committee recommends the article.
Ms. Julius for discussion, if any.
Right, as printed in the warrant, it's to fund a classification and compensation study to update job descriptions and wages so that we are competitive in the market.
Thank you. Any further discussion on Article 2 as presented? Seeing none, all in favor of Article 2 as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Article 2 passes. Article 3, is it Christine, Town Accountant?
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to rescind the sum of $940,910 of the authorization to borrow $1,540,910 voted in Article 1 of the special town meeting of September 24th, 2018.
I have a motion, do I have a second? Motion made, seconded. Finance Committee, a recommendation?
Finance Committee recommends the article.
Ms. Dean, for discussion, if any.
This was money that was approved to borrow for the central school boiler and not used in that project, so we're voting to rescind the borrowing.
Thank you. Any further discussion on Article 3? Ms. Wolf?
I'm just curious
Just identify yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Kathy Wolf, 272 Laurel Street. I'm just asking how we could have been so far off from the estimate of this job. I mean, to be more than 60% off, having almost $1 million left over. Maybe somebody could explain that.
Well, I will ask Ms. Dean, but she's relatively new in the job, I believe, so I don't want to put her on the spot. We have a relatively new town administrator. John, do you have any input on this, or David? The question was,
We might ask the school, Mr. Moderator.
oh, we can actually defer it to Mr. Shea.
Good idea.
Identify.
We were authorized to borrow $1.5 million, which is the total amount of the project, but it's a 60% reimbursement from the state, from the MSBA. So we as a town, only paid the $600,000. The MSBA or the state paid the remaining amount. So we didn't need to borrow $1.5 million, only the $600,000.
Thank you, John. Any further discussion on Article 3 as presented? Seeing none, all in favor of Article 3 as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That requires a two-thirds vote. I'm going to declare that over two-thirds. Article 4, Mr. Spagone.
Yes, Mr. Moderator, I moved that the town vote to raise and appropriate or transfer from account number 1-0-359-3590, free cash, the sum of $1,128,079.02, to account number 82-0-359-3190, general stabilization.
Motion, do I have a second? Motion made and seconded. Finance Committee recommendation.
Finance Committee recommends the article.
For discussion, if any, Mr. Spagone.
No? House cleaning? Yep.
Any further discussion on Article 4 is presented? Seeing none, all in favor of Article 4 is presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Article 4 passes. Article 5. Mr. Spagone again.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to appropriate and transfer from account number 1-0-359-3590, free cash, the sum of $50,000 to the account number 1-420-3992-5303, professional service consulting for the purpose of consulting services by environmental partners.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Finance Committee recommendation.
Finance Committee recommends the article.
For discussion, if any, Mr. Spagone.
Yes, the town took on the services of environmental partners back in June, I believe, of this year to help consolidate the engineering stuff that we were doing through all the departments. That would be encompass the Board of Health, the Building Department, as well as the Conservation.
Thank you. Any further discussion on Article 5 as presented? Seeing none, all in favor of Article 5 as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5 passes. Article 6, Michelle Ahern, Capital Committee.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to appropriate and transfer from account number 1-0-359-3590, free cash, the sum of $61,935.50 to account number 1-220-3994-5870, replacement vehicle. This is to replace the 1960 V-Hull 16-foot boat and 2008 hovercraft with a combination advanced rescue boat X3, USCG approved flat bottom rescue boat with motor and a rigid hull inflatable with motor on combined, double stack trailer capable of holding an existing ice rescue sled and associated rescue equipment and training.
We have a motion, we have a second. Motion made and seconded. Finance Committee recommendation.
Finance Committee recommends the article.
Thank you. Mr. Hearns for discussion, if any. Motion speaks for itself?
Motion speaks for itself.
Thank you. Any further discussion on Article 6 as presented? Seeing none, all in favor of Article 6 as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Article 6 passes. Article 7, Mr. Hearn.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to appropriate and transfer from account number 1-0-359-3590 free cash the sum of $14,100 to account number 1-220-3972-5243 repairs and maintenance equipment to modify and upgrade the Plymouth vehicle exhaust removal system at the fire station.
Have a motion, we have a second. Motion made and seconded. Finance Committee recommendation.
Finance Committee recommends the article.
Mr. Hearn for discussion, if any. Same as the last one?
Nope, unless the fire chief has anything.
Any further discussion on Article 7 as presented? Seeing none, all in favor of Article 7 as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Article 7 passes. Article 8, Deputy Chief Windsor, Fire Department.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to appropriate and transfer from account number 22-220-231-4270 ambulance receipts or free cash the sum of $22,000 to account number 1-220-511-5148 additional comp other, and $25,000 to account number 1-220-511-5146 additional comp callback cover. This is to cover contractual changes.
You have a motion, we have a second. Motion made and seconded. Finance Committee recommendation.
Finance Committee recommends the article.
Chief, if any, explanation, if any?
No, it was a late negotiation in the contract after the budget was set.
Thank you. Any further discussion on Article 8 as presented? Seeing none, all in favor of Article 8 as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Article 8 passes. Article 9.
Mr. Moderator, I move the town vote to appropriate and transfer from account number 1-0-359-3590 free cash the sum of $27,078 to account number 1-220-511-5148 additional comp callback to cover 2 firefighters attending the Mass Fire Academy.
Have a motion, we have a second. Motion made and seconded. Finance Committee recommendation.
Finance recommends the article.
Any further discussion, Chief? Deputy Chief, I don't know.
No, this was, we have a long-term injury that has carried over into this fiscal year. We had made staffing reassignments to adjust for that, left us short on the academy coverage.
Thank you. Any further discussion on Article 9 is presented? Seeing none, all in favor of Article 9 is presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Article 9 passes. Article 10, Mr. Sheedy, Board of Selectmen.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to appropriate and transfer from account number 1-0-359-3590 free cash the sum of $51,000 to account number 1-155-3990-5595 computer equipment upgrades to implement multi-factor authentication at all schools and town departments.
Have a motion, we have a second. Motion made and seconded. Finance Committee recommendation.
Finance recommends the article.
Mr. Sheedy for discussion, if any.
No discussion.
Any further discussion on Article 10 as presented? Seeing none, all in favor of Article 10 as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Article 10 passes. Article 11, Ms. Julius.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to appropriate and transfer from account number 1-0-359-3590 free cash the sum of $39,750 to account number 1-0-359-3590 computer equipment upgrades to upgrade the current access control system at the Town Hall and Police Department.
Motion, do I have a second? Motion seconded. Finance Committee recommendation.
Finance recommends the article.
Ms. Julie, for discussion, if any.
This is to update the key fobs and security system at Town Hall and Police.
Thank you. Any further discussion on Article 11 as presented? Seeing none, all in favor of Article 11 as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Article 11 passes. Before we get to Article 12, I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, because people are going to fly out of here, I guess. Article 12, Mr. Pagone.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to transfer $1,448,120.78 from account number 1-0-359-3590, fund balance, to account number 84-0-359-3002, other post-employment benefits, OPEB.
I have a motion, we have a second. Motion made second. Finance Committee recommendation.
Finance Committee recommends this article.
Mr. Pagone, for discussion, if any.
Yes, Mr. Moderator, I believe it was a couple of town meetings ago, the town voted to start to be able to invest in the Prudent Investors Program. This money is money that was left from post-benefits from Southeastern Mass Health Group and claims and whatnot, so we'd be able to move that money and invest it in this program in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Pagone. Any further discussion on Article 12 as presented? Seeing none, all in favor of Article 12 as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Enjoy your holidays.
7:31.
Thank you for coming.
Allie, this is how we do it in East Bridgewater.
Yeah, gone. See ya.